Hi guys, White Warlock here. This is gonna be another deck guide, but this time it's on a different deck. It's on Purple Steel Jafar. So this deck is a work in progress. It's not even close to being finalized, and there could be a lot of changes in like one day or a few days of testing. I would not ever take this to a challenge yet. I need a lot more testing, but the results against Red Purple are very, very good. So if your meta is full of red purple, then you might just want to play this. Check it out and see if it fits your playstyle. So I will talk. This video guide will be on all the cards in the first current deck list, and I will make a video immediately after this and probably post it a few hours after this one comes online uh, to talk about the cards I'm not running and what you could cut for those cards or what what the pros and cons of every card is that we're not playing. Because currently we're still in the deck building. I'm still in the deck building process, and there could be uh, some hidden gems in this deck because it's a very unexplored deck for set four, which makes sense because there are almost no set four cards in this deck. There are only two set four cards in this whole deck. Um, and so it's kind of like a hidden thing because no one is testing this because why would you if you could just play the top four, right, the big four. So I'll talk about every card and I put them in categories again, and yeah, I'll talk about each category and each card specifically. So let's start with the main cards for this deck, which are which is the Jafar package. So we have the combo is the four whole new worlds and the four Jafars. So you need to have both of these in your hand, and you need to be able to shift the Jafar on 5 to stand a chance of winning. So my mulligan strategy at the moment is literally just mill 7 if I don't have either of them. And if I only have one of them, I keep one of each. Let's say I only have the Jafar, I keep one of this Jafar mill 6. And if I have one whole new world, I'll keep the whole new world and mill 6. If you have both, then you can mill for curve and try to get inkable so that you are guaranteed to get at your far, and you want to have one of the 8 shift targets, but that's a lot easier, and you should probably not mill for this. You should not keep these in your hand because you can get these more easily with card draw, and this one like you only need one of 8, and this is one of 4 and one of 4. So best is to get these during the Mulligan phase, and then if you haven't gotten a Jafar target, then you get those during the first few turns to draw cards. It's okay, for example, to play this 2-cost Jafar on turn 3 or turn 4, as long as it lives and you can shift it, right? But the best target is Jafar Dreadnought, is the shift target. It's good with the Blue Fairy, we'll talk about soon, and it draws cards. So let's say you have both on the field, your opponent just quested, you can shift Jafar on this one and then kill something with this Jafar after you only rolled it and get an additional lore, draw an additional card, and kill a character, right? So you'd rather shift it on this, but this is the easiest to survive, right? So yeah, these are the like the core cards. You could not, yeah, I would not cut any of those. I've seen like early lists that cut one of these, but I like 7, I like 8 and not 7. More is probably a little bit too much, but I'll talk about that in the next video because you could play more than just these 8, but uh, 8 is fine. It doesn't really reduce the chance of getting one of these 8 plus a 1 plus a big Jafar if you only run 8 versus like 10 or 11. Alright, so to get to this, we need card draw, and the rest of our deck is basically card draw and removal. So removal to survive and card draw to get there, but we have one other kind of win condition, which is Queen's Castle. So we play 4 off because the current meta is really bad against Queen's Castle. Red Blue doesn't play Fishbone Quill anymore, or sorry, Fishbone Quill, Fish Hook anymore, and uh, most of the time they require two characters to kill the castle, and if they have to spend so much time on killing the castle, they can't spend that time killing the Jafar. Then you can shift on turn 5. If you, let's say, played the big Jafar on turn 3 or something, and it survived, and it grants lore and it draws cards if you have characters in the Queen's Castle. So, uh, of course, they don't trigger the Jafar, but that's okay. You want this when you don't have the Jafar or in the late game when you already Jafared and shifted Jafar and got 7 lore and draws 7 new cards with the Holy World, and then you can use this to finish out the game. So now I'll talk about the first part of our draw package, which is just cards that say draw cards. So this might be a little bit too much, but currently I'm playing 6 1-drops, and 2 of which are the Generous Followers. I like 2 followers and 4 Roman Hoods because the shift Roman Hood is pretty good against green steel and blue steel. So uh, that's an additional value that if let's say if you don't have Jafar or you have only the 4-cost Jafar, you can play turn 1 Roman Hood, turn 2 Blue Fairy, turn 3 Shift Roman Hood, right? But I could totally see a 3-3 split or more Jitterbug followers. It's really interesting because after you shift the Jafar, you can quest, that's +1 lore, then banish it to draw a card, and that's another +1 lore. So it becomes basically a quest for 2, and after it quests, it's probably already dead anyways if you don't banish it. So yeah, it says draws a card. It's a good 1-drop. It contests Flynn triggers, so it's good against red purple, and it can contest opponents if they quest with Ronut. You probably just kill them. It's okay not to always draw the card. Then we play 4 Maleficent Sorceress and 4 Merlin. So yeah, this is maybe a little bit much, but I like this to try to draw to a Jafar, to a big Jafar or a wheel. Let's say you have a 2-cost Jafar, so you play that on turn 2, and you don't have a big cost Jafar, but you do have um, a wheel. You can play Maleficent on turn 3 and Rabbit on turn 4. Hopefully you can find it then, and you can also friends on the other side sing it with Maleficent or Rabbit to draw even more cards to try to get the shift or the wheel, or you can just use friends afterwards. So let's say you played Merlin or Maleficent on turn 3 or 4, and then after you wheel, you can friends. You draw 2 additional cards, you gain 2 additional lore. So yeah, I have a lot of card draw cards in our deck. It's kind of to make the deck more streamlined, to make it more consistent. Might be a little bit too much, but currently I like this high number. Then we have the Floodborn package. These cards draw cards if you have the Blue Fairy, which is a 1/1 evasive for 2, and it says whenever you play a Floodborn character, you draw a card, or you may draw a card. To support this, we play the 4 2-drop Robin Hood, and the 4 big ones. So you have 1, 2, 3 curve, and then this Robin Hood draws a card and just becomes a menace. And then currently I play 2 beasts and 2 Aladdins. So the beast is for non-red decks. If it stays alive, you draw a lot of cards if you need to fight the Honor World or the Jafar. And Aladdin is good against the blue steel and red blue decks, as it deals with their characters, and is also a good turn 3 play into Blue Fairy, because let's say instead of Maleficent, if you have the Blue Fairy running around, you can just play the Aladdin and kind of play like a better Maleficent, right? You play a 3/3 Maleficent with a good questing ability. You might want to play more Beast Tragic Hero. You might want to play more Aladdin, depending on your meta and depending on like testing. What testing shows this deck needs to be better against those matchups. But currently, I am at a 2-2 split. And then we have the removal package. It's not that many cards, but I think it's enough. We have 2 Eastmas. Those are for like the big cards that we can't that steel can't normally deal with. So let's say Tamatoa, for example, or like Maleficent Dragons if you need to deal with those. But you can also use them on your own characters. Let's say you shifted Jafar next turn, it stays alive. You can quest with it for one, and then you can Isma Rabbit, for example, and draw 3 cards, gain 3 additional lore. So that's reasonable. It's also just draw 3 cards with a fairy, right? So you can Isma your own fairy and draw 3 cards. Then we play 2 Tinkerbell. I used to play 4, but I think that is a little bit too much. But it's definitely a good threat. It's a good Floodborn when you don't have the shift Jafar. Um, Although that's most of the time just a losing situation, so it's a little bit tricky. Um, yeah, and the good thing about Isma as well, I forgot, is that you can draw the cards, but let's say you have the shift Jafar, but you don't have the wheel, and then you can get into that wheel. So that's nice. You could play the 3 cost Isma vanilla so you can shift on that, but I don't think that's necessary because the 3 cost Isma just doesn't do anything at the moment in this meta. I play 2 Smash. This is for maybe opponents Flynn if you need to deal with them, or um, Diablos, right? They're mostly for Diablos. Obviously, we have um, the 2 cost Jafar that has evasive on our turn, so that deals a little bit with the Diablo. I chose for Smash instead of Baboom because um, we have a 2 drop that we really want to play on turn 2, right? Um, we have Blue Fairy, or we have a 2 drop Jafar, but our 3 drops is only really drawing cards, right? Um, it's Maleficent, it's Aladdin with the Blue Fairy, or it's Friends on the Other Side. So our 3 drop is the one where we have time to answer our opponent's removal. So I would keep Smash. I would for now play Smash over Baboom, but that might change in the future. It's also good against Cove because it still kills the uh, Diablo when they're in the cove and the Baboom does not. Then I play double Zeus and double Grab Your Sword. So Zeus is kind of like the Isma, it kills most big characters, it just doesn't kill the Hyrums or warded characters, right? Or like cards like Dodoa. But it does allow for uh, yeah, it does allow for singing in our deck because we have rabbits, so and the 4 cost Jafar. So if we don't have a Jafar on 5, we can sing the Zeus and play another 5 drop like Tragic Beast. So I would play 2 at the moment. You could also use it on your opponent's castle. Let's say you play against red purple and they turn 4 castle. You can play turn 4 uh, on the draw. You can use their castle and then you can kill it with your 1 drop, right? That's a good trade. And then I play 2 grab your swords. Like we like white board removal isn't that necessary in this set. Um, and if it is, it's mostly be prepared that is the correct answer. And grab your sword is not really the answer that we need. But it is a reasonable card, reasonably good card against green steel, so I would still play 2. But this is a card you could this is a card you right now are playing at 2, but in previous sets you might play at 3 or 4, right? But right now the grabber sword is less and less necessary. All right, those are all the cards in the purple steel deck. Uh, I hope you enjoyed this video. Last night I had a stream with more than 50 viewers. That was really insane. So there's definitely some hype on this deck, which is kind of obvious because it's a fun rogue deck that can just combo out of nowhere. And those are the decks I really like. So I'm gonna try to test this and see if I can like make it better. And maybe it's metavel like maybe it's a little bit good against the meta, and then you could play it in a store championship or maybe even a challenge. But currently my deck for the challenge is still red blue items, but I want to take a little bit of a break on it. But I'll continue making videos on the deck in the future, and I'll right now for now I will definitely be taking it to Bochum. So yeah, if you're also going to Bochum, maybe we could arrange a meeting, but we'll see then. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later today with a video on the cards I'm not playing in the Purple Steel deck.